So if I go during my backswing and I want to have more of this look compared to this look,
Yep.
and we were gonna use the wrist angles,
Yep.
right? You're gonna need to have sensations like the face stays at the ball and the back of the hand sort of at the target.
Yeah.
And then during your takeaway, it's gonna need to feel like the back of the hand and the club are pointed down.
Yep.
And then you're gonna twist it. So literally twisting the club. So you're not gonna change your grip, but you're gonna twist the face. See, I'm twisting it that way. So it's more toe down.
Yeah.
The face is gonna point more towards the camera and then more towards the sky.
Got it.
So it would be an active twist the whole way during your backswing. I want to talk to you today about Live View Golf. Now you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. Live View is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out Live View Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code. All right guys, in today's video, we're gonna be talking about the twist away method. I know some of you guys have seen the videos before. Carl was awesome enough to come out here, and we're gonna actually do a live lesson together, teaching Carl the twist away. She may be a perfect candidate for it here in a little bit. If you guys haven't seen Carl's stuff yet, she's Fit Golfer Girl, both on YouTube and Instagram. Awesome videos, awesome content and programs around mobility, strength, fitness, health and wellness. We'll put the links to Carl's channel down below. Really, really good stuff. You guys should go check that out. But we're gonna start with the twist away method, right? So Carl, I know I've seen some of your swing videos before, right? I've seen some of the Instagram posts. I see your swing, beautiful golf swing. But I know we talked a little bit, there's maybe some inconsistencies with your game or some things that we could improve. And I want to talk about one main thing today that I think can really help. But before we start, maybe give myself and everyone a little idea of some of the struggles you've faced, kind of where you're at with the golf game, and we'll dig in.
All right, so as you know, if you guys don't know, I'm a personal trainer for golfers, so I have all the mobility. I'm pretty strong. I swing it pretty fast. So distance has never really been my problem. My problem is that I cannot hit the ball straight, consistently at least. I miss left, which happens to be a big problem because I hit a pretty solid left. All the trouble's always left.
Right.
And I mean, it's really bad with my longer irons, but it's really bad with my driver. I mean, I will maybe hit 4 greens, 4 fairways in a round. Okay. It's really terrible. So, you know, I always say, you know, people are like, oh, you know, putt for dough, drive for show, whatever that saying is. And I'm like, yeah, try making a par when you hit it out of bounds every time. Right. So that's my problem. I hook it. I'm a hooker, okay?
Yeah, you're a hooker. So inconsistency, direction control,
yep.
Stuff.
Also mind, you know, like I'm terrified. I'm terrified that I'm gonna hook it because I never know where it's gonna go.
And I think a lot of that mental side of that comes from the mechanical stuff, which is really based on one thing. So I'd like to show you, and we'll show you guys as we go, Carl's swing from the down the line angle to see the piece that I'm talking about. Carl, if you take your normal setup for me just for 1 second. In fact, why don't you hit 1 or 2 shots, and let's go out towards, let's just say like the end of that building. So just like the edge, right edge of that building. And we'll show Carl's swing so you can see the piece we're gonna talk about here, the one piece that I think will really make a difference with the inconsistencies. So, and Carl, I mean, you have a great swing, right? There's like 95% of this stuff is really good. You're athletic, you have good eye-hand coordination, lots of speed. But the inconsistencies, right? I would say the number one thing you look for when a golfer says they're inconsistent with direction is club face angle, right? We talked in some of our other videos about where the club face points. If you like really simplify things, it's the most important king or queen of the hill is where the club face points.
Yep.
So what I see with your pattern is your club face, partially because of grip, which we'll talk about an notch with that, gets too open during the backswing, and then you do a heck of a job of closing it on the downswing, but I believe you hit it left and over close it, like your brain has so much motivation to close the club face because it's too closed or too open. So because it gets too open, you're like, man, subconsciously, I gotta slam this friggin' thing shut. And that's where you see some of the release pattern stuff, the early extension, some of the high exit stuff that I have in my swing as well. So I'd like to just demonstrate a little bit of what I'm talking about. Let's explain that a little bit. And then I think there's two options as to how you could fix it. If you're saying, hey, I wanna change this piece, I wanna be more consistent, I'd like to hit more fairways, I don't wanna worry about left. So let's take your setup for 1 second, Carl. And you go in there to the ball where you feel comfortable. So let's leave that grip thing alone for a second. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's say if you just do a little takeaway when the club's parallel to the ground for the first time. So let's say during this, yeah, perfect. Now, one thing we're gonna see in Carl's swing, which I wanna change, is where the club is relative to the shaft or the club face angle. So our tendency for you, and I'm gonna just exaggerate this a little bit more, is the club face tends to get behind, or from your vantage point, to the left of the shaft. That means the toe gets too far behind the heel. Now, if we were to just think of like a door opening or closing, at that point in time, that means that club face has opened a lot already.
Got it.
If there was no opening whatsoever, that club face would be more here.
Yeah.
Now, relative to your grip, we'd have to do some crazy things like we let it twist there. Here's the shaft, right? Now, I'll show you how to do it, right? So,
yeah.
But this is a normal alignment. So here, the club head is on this side, in front of the shaft.
Yep.
And the toe would be in front of the heel. Hopefully you guys can all see that from down here. Here would be normal one more time, so it'd be the bad.
Yep.
So old normal. Club head behind the shaft. Club head in front of the shaft.
Wow.
The club head, this is one thing I heard from Steve Saraki, who I think probably got it from Andy Plummer, that I was like, oh my gosh, no one ever said to me before. The club head should always be in front of the shaft. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I've never heard it. I was like, oh, duh, yeah, it makes perfect sense. So if we go here, the club head should be in front of the shaft versus here. Now, if you go all the way up to the top of the backswing.
Let me start again.
Reset that grip in there, Carl. Let's go all the way up to the top. Now, the same thing's gonna apply here. So we can see the club head is behind the shaft. Can you guys see that? Here's the shaft angle. The club head's behind it, so the toe is behind the heel. Now that should, I'm just gonna twist it, Carl, for sake of exaggeration. But that really should be like this alignment.
That's weird.
Now the club head is in front of the shaft, okay? The toe is in front of the heel. Let me borrow that for a second. So you stay right there so I can show you what that looked like. So here was the first model. So this would be yours. The club head's behind the shaft. And this would be the club head in front of the shaft.
That's a big shift.
Big shift. So let's say we go here and we just go to this position here. Now where you would normally go.
Yeah, it's there.
Is this points up and away, right? Now this should point, at this point, about 45 degrees down like this. You see where the ball points?
Wow, that's a big difference.
It's a big difference. So right away, if we had a ball there, this ball should stay pointed, and the club face should stay pointed at the golf ball longer until about here.
Got it.
And then this should still be tilted down. Now we're either gonna need to do that through your grip or your wrist angles. If you take your setup one more time for me. So you with me on that, Carl? Like we open the face a lot during the backswing. So we have to close it a lot on the way down, which to me leads to the over closing, all the throw at the bottom, etc. Step one would be, let's not open the face as much during the backswing. Some might say, let's twist it close. Okay, we'll twist away. Hello.
Okay, so I can already tell you that I cannot possibly do this without changing my grip. Like this is very unnatural for my wrist.
Yeah. So because, take your setup one more time. Because you, I mean, your grip's very weak.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't seen many weaker in terms of it's turned very counterclockwise. So the weaker the grip is, if we looked at the V on the right hand or the left hand, the two V's would go up maybe just to the left of your chin or ear. I would like those V's over by your right shoulder, right collarbone. Now, can you play good golf with a weak grip? Of course, she already does. She already does play good golf, but it can lead to inconsistencies. So the grip pattern would be one option, right? If we turn the grip. Now, if you didn't turn your grip, keep the old way, to your point, you would have to really curl this under here during your backswing and really curl it. You can let your arm fold, and really curl it at the top. So this would have to be really flexed. This would have to be very bent back so that the club head always stays in front of the shaft. You see that?
Yeah.
So the club's inside your hands, but the toe's in front of the heel. The club head's in front of the shaft. This would be more normal for you.
Yep.
So if I go during my backswing and I want to have more of this look compared to this look, and we were gonna use the wrist angles, right? you're gonna need to have sensations like the face stays at the ball and the back of the hand sort of at the target.
Yeah.
And then during your takeaway, it's gonna need to feel like the back of the hand and the club are pointed down.
Yep.
And then you're gonna twist it. So literally twisting the club. So you're not gonna change your grip, but you're gonna twist the face. See, I'm twisting it that way. So it's more toe down.
Yeah.
The face is gonna point more towards the camera and then more towards the sky.
Got it.
So it would be an active twist the whole way during your backswing.
All right.
Now what's gonna happen in the beginning when we do this, likely, right now, I'm just gonna throw numbers out to kind of make it sort of understandable. Let's say you open the face a lot on the way back. Let's just say you open it 60 degrees, whatever that means. So you open it 60 on the way back, which means on the way down, you close it like 70.
Yep.
Because it goes too far left.
Yep.
Now, if we make a backswing, we only open it 30, half as much, but you still close at the same 70,
So yeah.
big left.
Just what I wanted.
Yeah, but it's step one to
Yes.
say, once we learn how to only open it 30 or less, I don't have to close it so much, and I can learn to be more passive with the downswing, get the handle more forward, the center contact, the consistency.
Got it.
Right? Take some of that face timing out of it.
Okay.
That's the principle. So how this would look is we're going to do a couple. We'll go through which option works best for you. We're going to boomerang some left on purpose,
Okay.
and then slowly start to bring it back. It's kind of weird. You have a left miss. We're going to go more left, but then slowly bring that back to
All
center.
right.
So, and like mentally as you go through this, you'd have to be like, hey, I get it. I'm too open. I want to get out of that, right? I don't want the inconsistencies. I know it needs to feel weird and closed. I know I'm going to hit them left. And then we can work my way into making the downswing pieces. But this grip pattern should feel weird just like the other one.
Yep.
What we need to see from the down the line is, hey, does that change the club face angle, right?
Yep.
So I would still like the same thing. I would probably do a set of 5 or 10 here where I'm going to record from down the line. We're going to check the face alignment. Now, your brain might react to it a little bit, but all else equal, these probably should go a little left. That would be normal. And they should feel weird with your grip a little bit, but let's do a couple.
All right.
Let's see. So each one, let's do 2 rehearsals. I'm going to just check your grip. I'm going to check the grip, and then I'm going to check the club face. That grip looks great. And then show me the club face during the takeaway. Yeah, beautiful.
I don't even have
Excellent.
to think about it. It just happens.
Good. That would be the advantage of the grip version versus the wrist version.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do one with a ball. How do we get to the videos? Yeah, that grip looks great, Carl. Beautiful. And that's about what I would expect here in the first couple. So that's a little bit of a pull draw.
It's not bad.
No, and it's the math example. That's, you normally open 60, close 70. Now you're only opening like 40, but still closing 70. But let's do 5 or so where that's okay. Like that's okay that it goes a little left. We're gonna get the grip part good, and that'll help the takeaway. That looks beautiful. Yeah, very good. Much better. Atta girl, perfect.
Yeah, that's left.
Yeah, that's perfect. But that's solid.
Yeah.
That's a nice pull draw. You hit that very nice. And that's probably 20, 30 yards left, which is exactly where it should be. That to me should be an instant sign. If I did that correct, I still closed it the same coming down, but now it's more closed going back. That's good. That's goal number 1, right? Let's do one more. Quick learner. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing we're starting to see with this, and this is going to be part of it, is the ball should look the same every time. So those last couple you did, they pulled you to the same spot every time, over and over and over. That's beautiful. And then when you're recording from back here, you're looking to keep the club head. Show me the takeaway. The club head's in front of the shaft. Just slow down the takeaway. You do got that quick takeaway, Carl. So let's say that's in front of the shaft. Club head's in front of the shaft. The toe is down. That's the piece you're looking at. So when you come down during the downswing, then it's not behind it, right? It's still in front of it. Now, we just did 3 reps with that grip. I would typically suggest about a week of practice with that before you do step 2.
Wait, you can't just fix it.
It's
in
just
3
like
reps?
instant, swing 4. So we're gonna talk about what to do, but I would typically have the player do that for a full week. And I still, like, you're still the anomaly in that 98% of players who open the face like you do miss weak right. So when you guys do a twist away and you miss weak right, those pull hooks left should be like awesome. But I would say a week of pull hooking is what I would do.
What's another week to a lifetime?
But the thing is, you should be hitting them good. So it should be different than your normal pull hooks, because it shouldn't be, the ball should look the same, right? And there shouldn't be off-centered contact. You should be hitting them well. And then once that's in and you're like, all right, same shot, same shot, same shot, same shot, now I can go the route of not closing it as much on the way down. We can talk about the downswing release patterns, right? Let's say our target line here is the right edge of that building. And so I would put something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paces in front as a start line guide for you, where we need to have the ball launching to the right of that. I'm gonna put this here. So if your start line with your little draw, because you like to hit a little draw, you should be starting the ball about at that clock. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And so we're gonna start that there. Now you're still feeling the gripping stronger. You're feeling the club face being more closed. But now we're gonna start to give you a visual for the downswing path. Again, this is like you would have done that for a whole week, not 4 reps. But let's take your setup for me one time. So now, if you look before you go, just outside of this stick in this zone, that should look quite a bit right compared to normal for you. Is that right when you look up at it? Kind of looks like that launch window's a little bit farther right of your target. If you look out in the distance, it should feel kind of more to the right than normal. Like you wouldn't normally look this far right.
For sure. That's like 50 yards right.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So now we have the grip. So the grip is stronger.
Yeah.
And I want you to just launch a couple here, feeling the grip stronger, the club face is closed, and then you want to be launching it just to the right of that white stick there.
Oh, that was
Voila.
nice.
That was perfect.
Okay, fixed.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That was, yeah. So that was good. And this would be the starting point of what I would put in your plan for like week 2, right? We've got this thing, it's called CogornoGolf.com. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before, but we put plans together. And what I would say for you, and I'm saying week 1, that's arbitrary. The real answer is you need to do that for a long enough period of time where the
So
face...
how do you determine if I'm ready for week 2 or like the second stage?
Video.
Got it.
Yeah.
So every week you do a video analysis?
So we usually do monthly, and then we have bi-weekly and weekly options. But when you look at it and you get your first feedback, I would say in there, hey, when you watch yourself from down the line.
Got it. So you teach me how to do it.
Yeah, teach you how to do it.
Nice.
So you can ultimately become your own coach with that. So when you start to see the face down like this, then and consistently over and over and over, then we're ready to start to do part 2, which we would start with this. So after you get the twist away going back, you learn how to launch it to the right of here. And then there's a couple other little pieces within that. But that would be the baseline piece. But your most important thing is grip and club face. Let's do one more. So the grip is stronger, the club face is more tilted down early, and then you're launching it right of that yellow or white stick.
Well, what?
The yellow white stick. Yep, you can get the grip and the club face piece early, and I'd keep checking that during the takeaway. The club head's in front of the toe, yes ma'am. And then launching right of the stick. Yeah, solid.
Yeah, that's nice.
So that's the twist away method, right? Grip influences it, wrist angles influence it. We went through for Carl because of her grip. That's probably the primary piece of it. For some of you, you might have a neutral grip and the face is still open, and that's a wrist angle forearm. So it's not always going to be the same for everyone, but the checkpoints remain the same, right? The checkpoints are the gold. Club face in front of the shaft, toe in front of the heel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more on the twist away, we'll put a card on the screen for that. If you want to check out CogornoGolf.com, we can build you a plan. We'll put a card on for that, and Carl's info is down below. Thank you guys for watching.